Hey everybody, Black Belt Jose back here with you again for a movie review. Today we will be talking about the film Kickboxer Retaliation, the sequel to the reboot slash remake of the original film Kickboxer with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And that reboot was called Kickboxer Vengeance. And this one, the new one, is Kickboxer Retaliation. The cast from the remake returns, and the film starts off with a really artsy, almost psychic premonition-y fight sequence, which is started off by a little tango between the main character Kurt and his now wife, played by Sara Malakul, who is actually an actress I've worked with before. I'll actually link it down if I remember to do so. We did a web series and she's in the first episode. She's amazing, very sweet lady, and I'm so happy to see that her career has been growing by leaps and bounds. So that's awesome for her, and I was really happy to see her back as the character she played in Kickboxer Vengeance here in Retaliation. So we get this really artsy fight sequence on this train, which turns out to be a psychic premonition because it doesn't actually connect to the plot of the movie until we meet those characters later on, which is kind of an interesting choice, and I kind of dig that. I think that's very interesting for the director to have chosen that. This is directed by a different guy. It's directed by Dimitri Logothetis, obviously a Greek person. He wrote Vengeance, and he's stepping into the director's chair on this one, which is really cool. He does a really fantastic job. It actually is probably one of the better directed direct-to-video martial arts movies of this genre, of this quality. And it's also got a really fun 007 opening sequence, which I enjoyed as a 007 fan. So you get this sort of very, stylized credit sequence showing parts of Thailand and, parts of the original Kickboxer and the first and Vengeance, the remake. It really sort of sets it off on a different note. It feels like it's not going to be the usual pit fighter type movie. Now, I mentioned before that there was great direction by Dimitri. And there's actually two amazing one-shot fight sequences. One happens in a prison, and one happens along the riverbank in Thailand. Two amazing sequences, really well choreographed fights. I was very impressed by what they were able to deliver with the camera moves. In one shot, the prison fight in particular, it goes up the stairs onto the landing, onto the second floor kind of railing, and then the camera somehow is passed to what I assume is a guy on a crane. The camera's passed to the guy on the crane, and then the camera moves out over the roof of the railing of the second floor and films from outside. That was an amazing shot. I was very impressed by that. I thought that took planning, and it took amazing choreography, and that's sort of an example of what you can actually do on a low budget and still deliver some amazing footage, some amazing fights, and not phone it in. And they definitely didn't phone it in with this movie, which I was very surprised by. Not that I thought it would be bad, but you never expect too much from a direct-to-video movie sometimes, but this movie really delivered, and I was very, very impressed by that. This movie is also full of a lot of stars. You got Jean-Claude Van Damme coming back as Durand, and now he's, the student has become the master. You got Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is in here. He has one fight with the main guy, and then he has a small fight with Van Damme. It's not a big deal. He's really, I don't want to say cameo, because he is a part of Kurt Sloan, the main guy, of his training montage and his sort of training team. But he doesn't really have a lot to do in the third act, so I would say he's sort of a little higher above than a cameo, supporting if anything. But it's interesting to have him in this movie and not have him be the bad guy. So it's cool to see him as a good guy, as opposed to like what he was in the Ip Man movie. So he's amazing in it. And then you got Christopher Lambert, who everybody knows as the Highlander, the original Highlander, and he's amazing in that movie. But in this movie, he's not that great. I don't know what happened to him. It's been a while since I've seen him, but his acting here is really, really stiff, and he almost feels like he's never acted before in his life, and this is the first time he's ever even tried to act in front of a camera, and he's very much robotic, and it almost sounds like everything he's saying, he just learned the line for the first time, and he's trying it out. And I don't know, he has this shtick that he kind of had when he was, even when he was Raiden in the Mortal Kombat movie, which when I was a kid, I thought he did a great job. I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't know if it actually holds up. But here, he's not that great. He's not that great. And Van Damme is amazing, actually. He does a really good job. In this one, he's blinded. In the first one, in Vengeance, you could see, but in Retaliation, he gets blinded by Christopher Lambert's character. And we don't see the blinding. We just see that he's got these, they kind of look like woman glasses. Kind of like these, senior citizen old lady glasses, I think they put him in. And then he has to train Kurt again to fight the big bad guy, who I'm going to get to in 1 second. Speaking of fights, everybody fights in this. Van Damme fights with Tyson. Tyson fights with Kurt. Van Damme fights with Christopher Lambert, I think is how you pronounce it. Lambert, because he's French? Or Canadian? No, he's not Canadian. He's French. He's European of some kind. I know that much. He's European. We even get a Highlander-style sword fight between Van Damme and Lambert, which is kind of amazing because it's been a while since I've seen Lambert with a sword, and I don't think Van Damme's ever had a sword. So it's very brief. It's like maybe a minute. But hey, I'll take it. So Kurt's become an MMA fighter, and he's very popular after what happened in Vengeance. And then he gets kidnapped and put in a Thailand prison, and Christopher Lambert offers him the chance to either live in prison for the rest of his life, for the murder of Tong Po, which is the character in Kickboxer Vengeance, the bad guy, or fight his greatest fighter, a guy named Malakul in the Americanized version, but everyone calls him Malakul. So Malakul is his genetically engineered super beast of a guy, giant muscles, big friggin' dude. He at first he looks like he has a belly, but when he flexes, you realize he just has really fat abs. And not only that, he takes these designer steroids. He's basically this roided out monster who could basically take down a house if he wanted to. So this Malakul guy is basically undefeatable, and Kurt has to either deal with getting his soul crushed by this man or live in prison for the rest of his life, which he doesn't want to. Then, of course, Lambert wants to help him make the decision, so he goes and kidnaps his wife, again played by Sara Lane. Halfway through the movie, it becomes a rescue attempt, which I appreciated because it wasn't just a pit fighter movie. We actually got to have a little bit of a action sequence that wasn't involved with just training or getting ready for a fight. And we have this big sequence where Kurt and a bunch of his friends get together. They break out of the prison and they go to the location of Lambert's mansion, his house, whatever, his castle, and they rescue the wife. They get her out, but then of course they get re-caught again, and she steps in the way of Malkul's super punch, and she gets sent to the hospital. So again, she's out of commission in the story, but now Kurt has his inspiration to fight, and he goes and he faces Malkul in what is basically a 30-minute final fight, which is incredibly brutal, very well choreographed, really well shot, and amazingly set in what they say is a traditional Muay Thai temple. But it looks amazing. Even if it is a set, it looks pretty impressive. I know I keep saying that word, impressive, but I was just impressed by this movie. It's a really well done sequel. I think I liked it better than the original, the part 1, Vengeance. Not the original Kickboxer, but the remake original. I think I liked it better than that movie, and I think there was a lot more to offer in this one. There's a ton of fights. It's never boring, which is a good thing, and it's highly enjoyable on all levels. It's not going to change the game as far as Kickboxer movies are concerned, but it's a great, fun ride. And if you like this kind of movie, if you're partial to watching a movie with Kickboxer in the title or any kind of martial art film, I think you're going to have a good time. And I'm going to give it, probably my highest recommendation, I'm going to give it 5 Hayas. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review. I will be doing more of these as the time progresses. I have some news to report. I will be testing for Yellow Belt tomorrow, Wednesday, May 2nd. I will be testing for Yellow Belt. My daughter Abby has been diligently helping me practice, as you can see in this footage here. She's been going over my blocks and my falls, front falls, back falls, all that good stuff. She's been an amazing help to me, and I feel I'm ready. And I'm ready to get the Yellow Belt. I will have that footage for you of my test on Friday. Fingers crossed. I know I can do it. I have no doubt that I will be a Yellow Belt by the next time we speak. Alright, you guys, remember to go out and find your mountain and climb it. Remember, you can do anything. You are unstoppable. I'll talk to you soon as a yellow belt.